I saw some radishes at the store this morning and I decided they'd be a nice thing to paint. The first thing I do is a quick layout. I'm using Cad Red light and a little bit of mineral spirits to block in the big shapes. I'm trying to keep things pretty simple because this is already a complicated enough painting to do. I'm using alizarin crimson and Cad Red light for the red mixtures, and I'm using cerulean blue and Cad yellow lemon for my greens. There's a little bit of cobalt thrown in there for the dark greens. Then I mix up some orange and add a little bit of blue to it to mute it down a little bit. These will be my background colors and my cast shadow color. This little scene is already complicated enough, so I'm doing my best to break it down into dark or light sections, and I'm trying really hard to keep those areas separated. I don't need to include every single little detail in this thing. I just need to get the right colors in the right places. The leaves on this thing are particularly complicated. I'm just trying to capture the rhythm of them. Dark areas where dark areas go, light areas where light areas go, and when everything gets put together, it should mimic what I'm seeing pretty well. You know, as good as the range of oil painting colors that we can purchase is, I don't think it's adequate for matching color for color what we see in reality. The best that we can hope to do is to create a set of relationships that mimic what we see. As usual, I'm doing my best to not be overly fussy with this painting. It's really in my nature to just noodle away at something until I beat it to death. What I really want to do is just put down the color that goes in a spot and then move on. I know that one of the reasons I tend to overwork things is that when I make a mark that works out, I get a burst of endorphins. And man, it feels really good. It's super satisfying to put a color down and have it work out just how you want it to work out. The problem is, I want to repeat that burst of endorphins. It's kind of like a little painter's high. So I keep touching that thing, that area, hoping to get the same level of satisfaction I did for my initial mark, but it never works out that way. If I don't really think about what I'm doing, what typically winds up happening is I continue to work an area in a vain attempt to get that great feeling back from that initial mark that I made. And each time I put the brush down, I pick up some background color and I mix it with the color on my brush. And little by little, the colors mix together into sort of this medium toned hodgepodge that just has no contrast and no life. And that is the opposite of satisfying. All right, so I got a little sidetracked there. At any rate, once I get the radishes established and I have the leaves pretty much where they need to go, I throw in some highlights on the leaves. And then I check my values. I want to make sure the light areas relate to the dark passages properly. And then I can go ahead and just spackle in the rest of my background and foreground. I like to get all the white of my background covered before I add any highlights. Sometimes if you have those white holidays showing through from your substrate, it can be a little distracting and it can be hard to get your actual highlights in the right spot or in the right intensity. Once I have the highlights in and I've got the dark accents taken care of, I'm pretty much done, so I decide to call it a day.